let's break down a couple of issues. What are the issues that will basically decide it for Arizona?
I think the Democratic side, abortion remains a really important issue. We do have an abortion question on the ballot for the voters to decide, and so that's going to bring out a lot of Ds who care deeply about that issue. On the other side of the issue, there's a question about immigration on the ballot, and immigration is something that is definitely lighting up the supporters of Donald Trump. So you got two different things going on there.
So, okay, so on the topic of abortion, it's to push out the age, isn't it? The time from 15 weeks out to 24. Will that be successful?
There's nothing. It's probably going to pass. There's no specific weeks in there. It's about viability.
Yeah.
So that if medical
viability is
science
around
changes,
24 weeks.
Exactly.
Right.
So they wanted to avoid that particular thing and just say viability. So yeah, that will. It probably has a very good, strong chance of passing.
But the top issue, immigration, the illegals crossing the border. There's a law in that basically making it a crime if you cross in an area that isn't an official port.
Making it a state crime, and you could then be arrested by a state law officer as opposed to the federal law officers who are traditionally in charge of it.
So I would have thought that would have already been in play here.
Well, there was an attempt at that years ago, and it got basically dismantled by the Supreme Court because it's a federal issue that the state's not supposed to be engaged in the
and that's
enforcement of.
Some of the criticism, isn't it, too, from at least local enforcement, is that, well, there aren't enough police, there aren't enough state resources to be able to deal with that influx.
Yeah,
it's got to be a federal problem.
Yeah, they've got a lot on their plates already, and they don't need that additional responsibility of arresting somebody. And then, you know, there is really no existing legal way to deport somebody via the state. It has to be done by the federal government. So it's a mess.
Let's just close on the issue. Who is going to be the next president? How's that race shaking down here in a state like Arizona?
We are not going to know until days after the election because it takes a certain amount of time to check what are called early ballots.
This is in Arizona.
In Arizona, you have to check a signature on them. So they're going to be counting ballots for a week after the election. So we're not going to know. But I do know that both teams have brought an amazing number of surrogates to the town. The vice president has been here. Tim Walz has been here. Donald Trump has been here. J.D. Vance has been here. Obama has been here. We have never seen this kind of attention on Arizona before, and that builds enthusiasm among your volunteers.
So why do you think that is? That it could well come down to this?
It could well come down to all these folks coming out here and urging people to get out and vote and to volunteer and driving that ground game and the turnout game.
You got a thought on who you think nicks it in the end?
I don't.
You don't?
I think that you can flip a coin at this point.
Jim, appreciate your time. Thanks for your insights this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.